Hello everybody and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your weekly podcast where we talk all things Warhammer and wargaming. And as always, this week it's just the three of us. I am one of your hosts, Wargaming Luke. I'm joined by Simon, aka Hobby Waffle, and of course Ben. Can you feel the Benergy this week? aka 90% Geek. Loving it. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Yeah,
like
good, thanks.
Hobby Waffle. You went up with that one. There's like emphasis on the waffle.
Like it's a question.
Too much.
Intake of helium during that part, clearly. But yeah, and we've got plenty to talk about this week. Of course, we have also the week that Space Marine 2 lands, at least if you've pre-ordered the gold edition upwards, I think. You get it on the 5th, so super excited for that. Space Marine 2 inbound. I'm sure we'll have some chat about that next week. I know Si will be onto that as well. But Ben, are you? Will you be partaking in it? Not really, no.
I to be honest,
when it gets...
I've got a Nintendo Wii. I've got a Switch. I had a Wii.
Then
I got a Switch.
Unless they happen to release Space Marine 2 on Wii at some point.
Well, that's it. I have been eyeing up. I would be able to sit here and play Shooters, Guns and Teeth on Nintendo
Indeed.
Switch while you guys are going, oh, come on, you. No, I have been eyeing up the PlayStation 5s in Costco.
Oh, I remember saying, yeah.
You can get them tax-free, and it's like, if I did video game videos, then that would be, at that point, that would justify it. It's a tax-deductible outcome at that point.
Yeah, Necromunda hired gun. You could do Space Marine.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws these past few days, so I'm going to have to tear myself away from that to play Space Marine 2.
Yep, it'll be exciting. We'll start the chat about that, I'm sure, once that's out. But otherwise, guys, if this is your first time joining us, make sure you are subscribing to us on YouTube if you're watching us there. And, of course, throwing a like on the videos for us and leaving those all-important comments down below. And of course, if you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us on there as well, and please do share us around as well, because that always helps massively if you can.
Yep.
We're all on social media as well, Twitter, whatnot, and we tend to post the actual video once a week, so if you share those around, it helps massively as well. So thanks, guys, for that. Also, we have community questions this week. Feel free to send in your own in between weeks. We usually have alternating weeks, and this week it is community questions. You can join us over on our Discord. Link is in the description below for weekly Warhammer and Wargaming chat, and even general chat. Join us. And of course, you can post us on there. We've got a little podcast question section on there where you can post your questions for the next podcast episode. But otherwise, I think we've covered off that. We're going to get into Ben. I think, what is it time for? Straight into it this week.
And now, the news.
Indeed.
Bong.
So this week, of course, or in the last week, we did, of course, have reveals that we expected to come for the Nova Open. And after our preview last week, we're all getting excited about these roadmaps to come, or at least what Games Workshop seems to call roadmaps. We'll have a brief look over those. It shouldn't take us too long, preempting obviously the jokes on that. But we do have a few nice miniature reveals, though. I'll give them that. So we'll be checking those out first here. The first of which I have up is, I think, the biggest reveal, which we were expecting. We predicted this, which is that we had the other half of the Hell Crown release on the new Stormcast Eternals stuff for Age of Sigmar. And yeah, we had a raft of new stuff for I always forget what the new chamber's called, actually.
Ruination Chamber.
Ruination. I always say Reclusions, but that's the name of the unit.
That's the three, the Terminator style dudes.
Yeah. But the first of which we have is Iridan the Witness character model.
Nicest Griffin model Games Workshop have ever released, I have to say. I would just say right now, that is going on a square base with an Elector count on the back of it, because that is gorgeous.
Always wait for Ben to say, I'm going to
it means business when it's wearing a leather hood.
Yeah. Now, this is up there for one of the coolest models so far this year, I would say.
I agree.
Very, very nice. It's going to, end of the year, we're definitely going to do a top maybe 10 models, and we'll do our own award show or something, I think. Morehammer award show for minis of the year, and this is probably going to be on there. Shout out to the Sigmar team again.
It is so lovely.
Yeah. And
if you scroll down, we can see a different angle on it as well. If you
I was gonna, and yeah, so you got the angles here, and then the close-ups, which is pretty sweet.
It's the wings. It's the sweatback wings.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I would have said the one that came in Island of Blood was the nicest Griffin that they've done. The one that's kind of pouncing, but this one it's really cool. It kind of both captures both kind of a pouncing cat and the bird aspect of it as well.
Yeah, going back to the Island of Blood one, that is still a nice miniature.
I've got it in a box over there. But even the Stormcast on top is really nice as well. Kind of the detail. It's not too overly fancy. I like the kind of burning flames, cold flames off the back of the axe.
I assume really cool. This is a new named character, at least for miniature. So I haven't heard of him before. So
Iridan the Witness.
And then kind of the alternate version, you've got the Lord Vigilant on Morgriff.
With different head, which I think I don't know which head I like more. Because this one's with his head.
And this one's obviously actually got its wings open as well.
I thought the wings were the same pose on this. Are they not? Are they different?
Yeah,
they might be actually. Oh, you're right. Sorry. No, it is
the
wings
are the same. It's the head. It's the head that's different.
It is a different head, yeah. But also very cool. So you'll be able to pick up either of those whenever these get released. We have been told already now, we'll go into it later, that Skaven are coming first, then Stormcast, so for a release schedule.
Well, it's not like they've got much else coming this year.
No, we'll get into that later. But some more close-ups there, but looking awesome.
Just look at the spear tip where it's kind of straight backed and then curved straight edge. Imagine that on like a Grey Knight Grandmaster or something. That was so
I've seen
cool.
a lot of people saying that these new Stormcast releases, actually, these new models, are going to have some lovely like 40k conversions and kit bashing happening. We'll get to one in a minute, which a lot of people have been talking about for that. We got the new Lord Celestin.
I'm not a fan.
I was just going to say I was a bit underwhelmed by this one.
I don't think the paint job overly helps.
The waist looks weird. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just the photo angle, but he looks too narrow in the waist, and I'm just not sure.
I see some potential Dark Angels conversion bits there with the lion motif on the chest and the lion head on the shoulder.
Fine. I just think the whole gold shade going on, but then with the really light lion mane color over the shoulders doesn't quite work.
The Hallowed Knights one looks decent.
That looks a bit better for me.
To be fair, given that this is like a high fantasy realm, why is the lion coloured? It could be green or like midnight blue or something. That would look really cool against the gold armor. But
I think it would actually look cool if it was like a dark with like some grey highlights or something on it. I think that would be pretty cool.
Or even have the white lion on the gold armor and then have the golden lion on the Hallowed Knights armor. They've done it like arse about face there, really, haven't they?
But you got some multiple head options in there as well. So
that's actually something that's worth thinking about. If you scroll back up to the bird dog thing a minute, the griffin, couldn't remember the word. Natural griffin, bird colors, and again, I think for the special character as well, it's more naturistic. Whereas earlier versions of the Stormcast, when they did things like the Griffin Paladors and stuff, they were blues and greens. They were very much high fantasy.
Yeah, this is a magical.
They have now been leaning more into them looking more realistic,
grounded them a bit.
I hadn't really noticed that until we started talking about the color of the lion pelt.
And then you've got, this is the one that everybody's been chatting about.
There's
some Space Marine Chaplain fodder there, isn't there?
Anybody who doesn't need the hooded skull head and would like to send it to me for my Dark Angels, I would be very grateful.
This model is awesome, I think.
It is very cool. It's much, much better than the original. I mean, the original one, don't get me wrong, it was very good for what it was, but it was monopose from the original, Age of Sigmar starter box. It had been hanging around since first edition. This is a huge step up.
This is what I mean by the paint job as well. Like, whoever's painted this one as well has done it a lot of favours as well, because it just looks perfect to me. That's, like you say, this is the one that everybody's been saying, some 40k conversions and whatnot for sure.
He would also make a wicked Skeletor.
Yes, I have seen a lot of people saying that.
Oh yes, He-Man.
A lot of the Skeletor comparisons going on. But yes, awesome addition as well there. We have the new, I say new, I don't think...
It's the new Inquisitor model.
Lord Terminos. Yeah.
It's absolutely. It's what Kotiaz should have looked like.
Can I
He's even
just?
got the hourglass on his waist.
I was just going to say,
Let's
can
be
I just say
honest.
one thing about this? The little helper dude, the guy at the side there, who's carrying the hourglass.
Mhm.
Whoever painted that hourglass deserves a raise and some praise, because it is mega. They've even painted it so it looks like it's see-through, and you can see the other side of the hourglass and the outline of the sand on the other side.
It's very good.
That is a stunning paint job on that hourglass.
Yeah.
Whoever's
Very,
painted
very
that,
good.
kudos. Very, very nice indeed.
Seriously, replace the sword with a hammer, put the double-headed eagle on the pointing arm, and this is a so much better Kotiaz model.
Yeah.
Do you think like the Age of Sigmar minis team have gotten that good? That they're just looking over at the 40k lot and the miniatures designers over there, and they're just like, should
Hold
we
my beer.
like low key make some of our minis kind of like so that people can
it's either
use
that
them
or
on
they're
the
saying
other
to the
side?
Trolling
40k
them.
lot, when you've learned your trade, then you can come and work for us.
Yeah.
And then after they've done Age of Sigmar for a while, they get to go and do the man's game and make the old world. Just saying, look at the special character sculpts we've had coming in for the old world. These are nice. These are the Reclusians. So these are the Terminator ones, aren't they?
Do you know what? I prefer the ones out of the Scaventide box.
Really?
Yeah, I think I do.
Are the ones out of the Scaventide box also Reclusions? They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these
They're
are
the ones
same,
who are
just
forgetting their
different...
things.
Yeah, okay.
The ones who were followed around by their last living relative going, Uncle Jack, wait, come back.
So are these just like different sculpts then, or are they the same ones?
I think these are probably going to be multi-part, like posable, as opposed to...
This is like when we had the Blade Guard veteran in Dominator.
Exactly.
But then we got this multi-part Blade Guard veteran kit. It's the same sort of thing.
That makes sense, yeah. That makes sense.
I think they make these
cool.
Blade Guard veterans. Slap a Space Marine backpack on them and a helmet.
But they are pretty cool. You got the ultimate weapons.
Yeah, the Celestian Lion and the Space Marine collectors out there are going to be salivating at all these bits.
Oh, yeah.
I think these are the Star Drake moles, or what I think they're called. I can't remember exactly, but definitely the moles. They're very cool, though.
But they are kind of, in this respect, replacing kind of that Retributor with the heavy weapons, heavily armoured Sigmarines, aren't they?
Indeed. Very cool. You got the Stormstrike Paladors. So these are your, as
These
you
are
predicted,
so
Ben,
nice.
New kind of dark Griffs riders.
But they're even better than the old ones. I mean, the old ones with the Vanguard chamber. And I think you can build these from the look of it as Vanguard chamber, because I think one of them's got a Vanguard helmet, but the other two have got like the Stormstrike helmets on. So I wonder if you can make different chambers riding these. But I love the half barding look. I think it's so cool.
I mean, I always thought that if I was to personally get into a Stormcast army and invest into one, I preferred the dragon side of things. But these new Griff-related minis are very tasty.
These are going to be my Demigriff Knights for Warhammer Fantasy Battle for the old world, because they
don't blame you.
It's way, way, way better than the existing Demigriff models, which you can't even get at the moment anyway. But yeah, no, these are just, and a little bit of work is needed at most, and they'd just be so cool. Give them kind of different, kind of more fantasy style helmets, and you're pretty much laughing.
No, they are awesome. Very nice.
But again, on natural coloured beasts. They're not on wild bluey green, but like monster griffs.
I saw somebody point out, and I do agree, that when they're doing these reveal posts now as well, they are giving us multiple colour option kind of pictures of them as well, which is nice because it gives you a good idea and a good mix-up of viewpoints on them. So I do like how they do that. Different
that one there looks like he's doing the Yard of Ale.
Yeah.
So the Sons of Horus one looks quite cool.
Yeah. But no, very, very awesome. And then they have what I assume is that a new terrain piece for Stormcast.
I assume
the Stormreach portal. Which people can correct me in the comments, but I don't think they've had their own faction terrain piece yet.
Somebody's ruined this one for me because they said it looks like the old Victorian era public toilets that you'd see in a seaside town. And I can't unsee it.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah.
You go to Scarborough and you go to the public toilets. It's basically that without the portal.
They look like the toilets that look like kind of an ancient mausoleum but
Exactly.
that just happens to have
You
somewhere
know
inside
exactly
the
where I'm
leak.
coming from.
So you go to open the doors to its side, and then there's a portal on the other side of it in the middle of Scarborough on the beach.
It smells like that usually.
And you think, oh my God, thank God I can get out of Scarborough.
No offense to anybody in Scarborough if you are watching. Right, but yeah, new terrain piece for them, and from what they've said, you're going to be able to focus your teleportation through the portal onto the battlefield, as if Stormcast didn't have enough of that already. But there we go.
Just thinking,
They
imagine
just want you to buy more models.
Well, imagine if someone deployed that as a Necron monolith. They're like, "Thunk, this is my Necron monolith." It would look so cool. You know, like kind of Necrons coming out in kind of marble effect armor. That would be really cool.
That's true. That's true.
That's a cracking
I'm sure
idea,
people.
Yeah.
I would actually end up converting that a bit, to be fair, and put some Stormcast coming halfway out of it. That would look cool. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, nice little addition for them. And then it's pretty much just the Battle Tome, which of course we had for the Skaven as well. And then I think that's more or less it, except for obviously you get the card pack as well.
Cards and stuff.
So that is one thing they've announced with the new edition of Age of Sigmar. You're going to get like a mini Battle Tome option as well, which they said is limited run. So you can choose to have a little mini one for if you go into tournaments quite often and things, so you can carry that easier. And then that comes with your usual card pack as well. So nice little.
Is it limited? I didn't read. I'd see that part.
I think they said it was limited from what I remember reading. Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if it'd be like one print run and done.
Yeah, which makes sense because then obviously. Otherwise, if they're going to do it for every new Battle Tome, to have the full-size one and a mini one would be too much. They already bloody struggle to keep up with printing Battle Tomes and Codexes usually, so I'm not surprised. But that, I believe, is it really for the Stormcast. We'll go to the Age of Sigmar roadmap in a bit. But the next reveal up, as we knew this was coming as well, the new Bloodbowl team. And so... When this was revealed, I remember last week. So during our predictions for anybody who watched or listened last week,
yeah, I know what's coming.
We were literally like, "Oh, Chaos Dwarves on the roadmap," or Sons of Hashut for Age of Sigmar, and then I think the other one was like, "Oh, the next likely option, possibly Chaos Dwarves in Old World on the roadmap. That might be a secret reveal for next year." But no, it was a Blood Bowl team.
Well, that was it. When we were talking about Blood Bowl, you lot went, "Oh, I bet you're going to say Chaos Dwarfs." I said, "No, I'm not actually." What I meant to say was, "Yes, of course I was."
Yeah. But yeah, we do indeed have a new
coming back to Blood Bowl.
Chaos Dwarf team.
What a phenomenal! I can't get my words out. What a phenomenal looking team that is.
Yeah.
These are Nangrund Ziggurats.
Yeah. There's not as many top hats, you know, the classic Choff top hat, but they do look fantastic. And the Hobgoblins look good as well. Really, really nice looking team.
Yeah, a mix of Hobgoblins and Dwarfs in this one, let's say.
I just love the crazy dudes drinking the fire-breathing liquid, where one of them's got his finger up just saying, 1 minute, I'm just having a drink. Just 1 minute.
Oh my God, it's the Archer pose. It's the...
Yeah, the Usain Bolt.
Do we think this is going to give us an idea of what they're going to look like when they come to Age of Sigmar?
I'd say a rough idea. Probably.
Yeah, I think this is a precursor. This is a test run.
I mean, we've seen them do it right with like Warcry and Kill Team previously as well, where we have like a precursor Kill Team or Warband, and then you see them that kind of theme then go to the full faction release.
So instead of going top hats, we're going to go with kind of weird Pope hats.
Yeah, they do actually look
like they're a bit
purple,
them, aren't they?
Yeah.
But no, the detail on them is really cool.
It is.
Very cool.
I like all the decorations on the beard.
The Guzzlers, they're looking awesome. Fire breathers. And you got the
sneaky stabbers. And then the big boys.
So they're like what, centaur type things?
Bull centaurs.
They are
very,
which we've seen before with like I don't know, you guys will remember better than me, like for obviously back in Warhammer Fantasy days. I don't know if the Chaos Armies had like bull centaurs, but I know that like some Legions of Asgore, when they did Forge World runs, they obviously had these kind of things. But yeah,
no, it's ever since Chaos Dwarfs first made their appearance in the pages of White Dwarf, bull centaurs have been kind of their go-to cavalry. I mean, they've had like Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and stuff as well, but bull centaurs are their heavy cavalry, and it all kind of ties into, just briefly, history lesson. It's that kind of influence and style that they went for with the Chaos Dwarfs, which is kind of part Persian, part kind of the I suppose what's now modern day Libya. Part, what's the word I'm looking for? Not Carpathians. The Carthaginians, the worshippers of Baal, who his symbol was a bull. So that's why loads of the Chaos Dwarf stuff is like bull centaurs, winged bull riders, all that.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
always
thing.
been a key piece of their artwork as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't enough that they are bull centaurs, they got just one massive blooming hand, what do you call them, on their hands for the knuckle duster.
Just giant studded knuckle duster.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's like a knuckle duster turned up to 10, isn't it? The idea, you just bludgeon your opponents.
Literally,
We'll just call it a
nice.
no. It is a no.
And they have said that's reflected in these guys' rules as well. They're going to be able to
Sweet.
make extra re-rolls and things for the blitz and things like that. So
They've got to be at least strength 4, maybe strength 5, and we're
Well,
looking at,
and you've got the breathe fire trait as well.
yeah.
Which is hilarious because depending on how you roll it as well, on a 1, you end up engulfing yourself in flame and setting yourself on fire. And then on a 4+, you're basically hitting the opponent in the face with the fire.
Immediately knock them prone. And I'm assuming things like tree men and stuff, maybe there's some kind of special rule for them, because you wouldn't expect them to do well, or mummies, as well, being set on fire.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see them in action and see what people do with these. Let us know in the comments if you'll be picking up this team. We also have today perfectly actually announced.
I might just bring these to
a star
the
player for them as
stunty
well.
tournament and just lie and say they're stunty. Steamroll you completely.
What do you mean they're not gnomes?
Of course, yeah.
But as I said, star player revealed for them today as well, which is pretty
The
cool.
unstoppable.
Very cool. He's just massive.
It's just incredible. I like the article says that Hathark is the noise you make when he stands on you as well.
I must admit, I haven't had a chance today really to read about him, so I'm not sure what his sort of special things will be.
Apparently, he's got hundreds of fatalities on the Bloodbowl pitch, which I just find hilarious.
That's cool.
He's got skulls woven into his beard. I mean, literal casualties woven into his beard.
Pretty cool. But for those who are only listening, if you haven't seen this guy yet, it is one of the bull centaurs, but he's the star player for them.
Turned up to 12.
Yeah. I'd imagine he's probably going to be a little bit bigger than the normal bull centaurs, possibly as well, just to make him stand out a little more.
He looks
Which is a shame because it's
round base.
It's going to be resin, so it's going to be pricey.
Oh heck yeah! I'm imagining at least like 45 quid for this guy.
Yeah, but very cool, and it's nice to know that you've got a star player coming alongside your team straight away.
Or if you're playing Chaos Dwarves in the old world, there's your general.
Oh yeah,
literally.
Yes, 300,000 gold pieces to include him in your team.
That's still cheaper than Count Luther von Drakenberg.
Yeah,
he's like
I can see a lot of Chaff players are going to include this guy in their team for sure.
Oh heck yeah!
I think he gets a reroll on his blitz as well.
Yeah.
Whenever he
can reroll single block dice.
Reroll. Very cool.
Very, very cool. So that is your Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team and star player. One little thing that
and that's the news. That's all there is.
Yeah. Well, there is one more reveal actually, that came right at the end, which we will just touch on just very briefly, which is for Middle Earth. We know now that you are actually getting the.
It is the characters
Rohirim.
from the War of the Rohirim trailer. Yeah. If you haven't seen the trailer already, go watch it. It's amazing. But the sculpt absolutely perfectly matches the artwork from the trailer.
Yep, and it's his name's Wolf, apparently.
Imaginatively so.
But very cool. First mini revealed, and it does confirm that we will be getting stuff alongside the release of that movie later in the year, which they have released the trailer for now as well. Looks interesting. We'll have to wait and see what else is revealed for the new edition. That's going to take up a lot of the end of the year releases, which is why as we move on to the road maps for GW put up for us, and as Ben will show you.
Just get a map out so that we know what a map looks like.
Yes, Games Workshop, just so you can. Maybe we'll clip this part out just so we can post this on social media. That is a map.
This is what it's like. It shows you things that are, places you're going to go.
So, and obviously we're comparing this to sort of previous roadmaps that we've had, which are actually like pretty much, you would say, a year's span worth of sort of codexes and releases. The first thing I'll say before we go into any of these, it just feels very rushed, and also we'll find out in a moment, outdated. So maybe they planned to do this a couple. Sure. It's almost like they'd planned to do this 1 or 2 months ago, and they've kind of left it longer than planned. I don't know.
Over half of the roadmap is just Dross saying, "This is what we've done already. We know what you've done already. We want to know what's coming next." That's like going, okay, you're going on a road trip. We're now just going to show you half an hour of where you have just been for the last hour.
Yeah, I mean, they even have the fact that, they've literally said, 2024. But so we're starting with the 40k one for anybody listening. They've actually gone back to 2024 and said, we've had a new edition of Warhammer 40k. We're almost as close with the reveal of this roadmap to the next edition of Warhammer 40k as we are to them saying we've just had it.
I was just going to say, the best thing it said
we've had one new edition of 40k.
Yeah, 2024 so far, new edition of Warhammer 40k. Yeah, well, we know that because that was last year.
Yeah.
And then it's basically, they've said, so for the rest of the year, just Blood Angels. So we've revealed everything that we're going to show you. I'm going to roll the dice.
Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time for.
Yeah, and I'm going to roll the dice and say that's not true. I'll say there'll be a couple or one maybe surprise for 40k before the end of the year revealed. And don't forget, you'll get your Christmas reveals as well.
Yeah.
So I think we will see something else, but it's not a roadmap, is it?
It's just more a case of like, don't do a roadmap if you don't have.
It's just two. It's just 2 lines and then some stuff we already knew. Really, apart from Imperial Knights, we knew that Guard and Eldar were getting a second
to go
wave.
through for people like listening to us, of course. They've included Blood Angels for the rest of this year. One thing to point out, by the way, that we're a bit worried about with these roadmaps so far, there's not a hell of a lot on these that's the rest of this year, actually. It's mostly beginning of next year and stuff we already know about.
4 months left of the year.
Yeah.
We're only 2/3 of the way through the year.
And when you actually watched the preview, I don't know if either of you actually watched any of it. I actually watched it back as well. The majority of it was them just going... talking to the different studio heads about what's coming the end of this year, which we already knew about. So in the 40k case, Blood Angels, and then in 2025 they were just like, you've got Astra Militarium with some new Kree kits coming, which we did predict, Eldari, Eldar, and Imperial Knights. I don't think in the actual video preview they even mentioned Imperial Knights. They just left that to the list. So. And
Is it
then
just
obviously
me
they're
as
just
well? The actual, when they got the games designers on, they looked as if they were up at 2 a.m. doing it as well. Like they really didn't seem massively stoked. I know I'm a little bit over the top and shouty and hand waving in the air.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh yeah, so this is what we were thinking of doing for this. And then we thought we'd have a cup of tea and a biscuit maybe. And then Josh popped out to the shops to get some bourbons. And anyway, so that's why we're doing Astra Militarum. And yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange. It does feel like it was very last minute. And they have touched just briefly there as well, saying more codexes, big names, and special chaos treats, apparently, which I would assume is probably Emperor's Children, which we have already been told is coming as well.
It'll either be Emperor's Children or following up on the Vashtor storyline with maybe some bits for that.
The one thing I will say in favour of the 40k one is that at the very least, it does actually flow insofar as it goes so far, still to come and beyond. And then it tells you the next 3 things. When we look at some of the other roadmaps, genuinely, if you tried to follow one of them, you'd end up in like a completely different country.
Yeah,
like they start doing a U-turn and they start going to the halfway through before they go back to the end.
I think one of the ones that takes the hat for the worst, I think, is the Age of Sigmar roadmap. Obviously Skaven, Stormcast Eternals, Slaves to Darkness is what they're saying. We've already had obviously everything Skaven Stormcast revealed. Slaves to Darkness, new battle tome, whatnot, I'm sure. But then it just kind of saying, you know,
all of the
destruction,
factions are going to get something.
Yeah, like all of the Grand Alliances are going to get something next year. Shocker. But they have obviously given the order, so destruction, death. And I think that's... And they basically said that each Grand Alliance is going to get new spearheads as well. Confirmed that Iron Jaws are going to get their own new spearhead box and spearhead, which is nice to know. But, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys, really.
After the massive release of Age of Sigmar 4th edition, this roadmap coming after that is kind of like if you went to see, like if you were one of the people who was like insanely lucky enough to get an Oasis ticket for next year, and you turn up at the venue and they play like, okay, we're going to play Wonderwall. Thank you and good night. And you've been there going, wait, what? That was it?
I mean, I'm confused with it though, just because do they not have the next year of releases planned out? Could they not have put them on here? Like, are they? There must be a reason why they haven't.
My current working theory is somebody said, we're going to do like a preview show and we're going to want to do some roadmaps or something to show, you know, everybody what's coming next year. And then they forgot to tell any of the department heads until like the Thursday afternoon, the day before. And they went, quick, we've got to put something there. Look, does somebody just get like Photoshop open and we'll just throw things at it and call it a roadmap?
Yeah. Very odd.
I've seen my kids' homework that was done with better attention to detail than this stuff. Oh, no, wait. It's the Horus Heresy one.
Yeah, it's like Age of Sigmar, hold my beer. This is a real roadmap, but not really, in case you're listening. So they've confirmed, Si, you were saying with Matt last week about you wanting, was it the combat sprues and whatnot? The melee guys?
Not necessarily want for me, but I know a lot of Heresy players have been waiting for those melee weapons that we saw revealed ages ago. It looks like they're finally going to come. But basically, the only other thing they've said is like, yeah, there's more Legions Imperialis and tanks. Yeah, it's like, has somebody misspelled thanks there, and that's it? Or
and that's
basically, we're still making the Horus Heresy game.
Yeah,
that was like, they might as well have said, by the way, we've not stopped this game; it's not been discontinued. But that's all.
By the way,
joking aside, I'm just going to say Heresy Thursday is coming back, so they're going to start revealing stuff every Thursday again, which is good. But it's, you know, what are they going to be filling it with? Are we going to get more random characters, or are we going to see vehicles, tanks, and presumably Legions Imperialis will be folded into Heresy Thursday because that's what they were using it for last time. So.
And to be fair, I felt really sorry for the Heresy studio head that had to come on. If you watched the actual preview, he really did. You could tell he wasn't happy being on there and sort of being pushed to say what was coming. But he did actually touch that's not on here on the fact that after all of this that's listed here, they are going to get onto more releases for the individual legions.
Breeders!
Well, there's one more important thing on the roadmap that we should talk about. It does say other factions lurk, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So that's pretty interesting because we've got the legions, obviously. We've got Solar Auxilia now. Mechanicum have just entered the fray. So what other factions could we be seeing?
I think they're making it up. I think they just wanted to write something suspicious sounding in the space. Like, genuinely, I watched this because I was really interested to see what they might say. And
I'm thinking Dark Mech.
Well, Si, you know that dad thing that you sometimes do when the kids ask, what's for dinner? And you go, stuff. Yeah, but what is it? Food. That was the equivalent. What's coming for Horus Heresy? Some miniatures.
Minis.
Yeah, but like, what? There might be some tanks.
Yeah.
It really was just...
Might be plastic, might be resin. Now go and sit down and wait.
It's going to be something that you'll have to assemble and paint yourself.
But yeah. So that was Heresy. And then you have the Old World.
Which is written back to front.
Yeah, so odd. Rest of this year, we already know what's coming. Actually, in fact, it's all on pre-order, if not all released. What they've got on this roadmap, even though they've said still to come. So Dwarves, Warriors of Chaos.
David Brain said to me on YouTube today he's looking forward to us ripping these roadmaps apart. I mean, this out of all of them was the worst, wasn't it? Because
I mean, I know. I know you were the more kind of reserved out of the three of us, because obviously me and Ben have been predicting all year that they'll get all of the factions out by the end of the year. Would you have predicted last week that there would be no more factions this year?
No. See, I thought we'd get one. I thought we'd get one more this year, and then more possibly two, and then it would roll into next year. But I didn't expect to get this roadmap / guidelines, as Captain Barbosa says, is more like guidelines. Still to come,
more like
dwarf and mountain holds. I mean, I know dwarfs are slow, but flipping heck,
Yes.
they're already out, and it says Warriors of Chaos March. Yeah, well, they've gone on pre-order already.
March?
And then
It's August.
Yeah, and if you follow the line around, it's like a U shape, isn't it? For anyone that's listening,
It's a
if you
U-turn.
follow the line down, across, and back up, it says more factions. Now, what they've said is Empire of Man will be next, which is surprising me because I thought that they would be last, given that it's probably going to be a big release. But they're saying that the Empire of Man are the perfect foil to the Warriors of Chaos. But on the line, High Elves appear first.
Well, in fact, it goes more factions. High Elves,
Yeah.
Empire of Man, 2025.
And it does say the High Elves have been delayed by some delicious intrigue at the court, but basically means production issues. I'm certain High Elves were first.
Guys.
High Elves were first, but they've had to switch it round because something's gone wrong, or there's been an issue with what they're bringing out for the High Elves. And it says High Elves are Moreworming their way back in, plus a nautical new character, which I'll let Ben touch on in a minute. But Moreworm coming back is pretty awesome.
Very much so.
That's what I was saying the other week when I said I fear for my wallet when we're talking about High Elves, because I knew they'd do something like this.
Oh, the High Elves. Okay. Here's what else they revealed as kind of the chat on this when they had the guy on, who again looked like he did not want to be there at all. Like you're the one who's responsible for bringing back by far the most popular game that we've released this year, and it's like, yeah, and it's 2 a.m. and I really, really just want to be in my bed. No, what they have said is that this. Okay, so putting aside the fact that apparently Games Workshop don't want any more money, they're just going to give us all 4 months off to let our wallets kind of relax and recover before they start hammering them again. Which is actually, in many respects, I'm quite thankful for, because I need a little bit of time to clear up some of my pile of shame. But Empire is coming back, and it's going to be one of the only things we know that's going to be in there is the War Wagon is making a return. Which the only one who doesn't remember was a classic piece of kit that was introduced. I've got the army book right here next to me, actually, from my last video. It was released back in the 4th edition army book, and it's basically a heavily armored cart chock full of engineering students with their latest experimental weapons, which is things like a ball and chain. But it's a really cool ball and chain. It will be, I suppose, kind of like a heavy chariot for the Empire army. I'm hoping that it brings back the original kit, but maybe we might see, like they've done with some of the other ones, like a reworking of it. Like maybe they'll make it more kind of easy to assemble, add some extra detail. That would be quite cool if they kind of tooled up some different weapon options that you could put in there. Beyond that, as Si mentioned, the High Elves, we're getting the Merworm, which is the Monstrous Arcanum, giant kind of sea dragon-y thing that High Elves used to be able to take. They're going to be able to take that again, which is awesome, because it means that they are, I think at this point, one of the factions with the most monsters in the game, because they'll have like griffins, dragons, eagles, merworms. They'll be absolutely chocker full of different kind of, which is very much as it should be. But the other one they mentioned is a seafaring character, and I've been saying for over a year now, Finnabar the Seafarer, the future Phoenix King of Ulthuan, was alive and kicking, and
I was going to say he was around at that time, wasn't he?
He was exploring the globe. He was sailing around the whole world, visiting Far Cathay and all kinds of cool places, having dramatic adventures. And yeah, this would be an ideal character for them, much like they've introduced Thorgrim in as his younger self in the Dwarf book before he became the High King. I would love to see Finnabar before he became the Phoenix King as a special character, because he did actually have in Total War. They had done rules for using Finnabar as the Phoenix King, and it would be nice if they kind of tied into that Total War vibe and went, hey, this is one of the characters that's in Total War when he was a young man exploring the world as a pirate.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, obviously, there's like again, just very minimal what they've given us on these. I don't know why they called them. I think literally, if they'd not have teased it and said that there were roadmaps coming for these 4 things and just said, we're just going to give you a little bit of info as to the next couple of things that are coming, why call them roadmaps? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they should have just said,
why
we're going to show you the PowerPoints from the internal staff presentation.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed
By
like.
the way, the old world one's out of date.
Yes.
Well, no, most of them are, to be honest.
Pretty
like I
much.
say, Warhammer 40,000 mentioning that we had the current edition is just baffling, to be honest. But there we go.
If they had done a Necromunda one, it would be telling us that Hive Secundus was coming soon.
Yeah.
Ironhead Squat Prospectors coming soon.
It's not something that we're going to touch on now, not non-related to this, but also something that dropped today that very much excited me. The next White Dwarf is going to be heavily featuring Kroot stuff, which has made me super happy.
It's basically a Kroot army list. Like, it's the Kroot
so we're getting like an
Crusader.
actual combat patrol now, and extra rules for campaign and stuff like that. So that's basically made up my decision as to what my end of the year project's going to be. So thanks, Games Workshop, for confirming.
You need to do a Tower army that's just Kroots and suits.
Well, he can do the Kroot combat control, can't he? Then just add some suits at a later date.
I'm literally just going to be doing a Kroot army, so I've already got my old Narlocks and stuff, so I'll just freshen them up a bit, and I'll get the new the latest Kroot set that they released, the hunting pack or whatever it's called. That'd be cool. But yes, that is the reveals from that. And to be honest, the actual reveals that we got were very cool for the most part. For what we got, obviously the roadmap's just a bit of a waste of time, really, sadly. But it feels like even more of a waste of a time, sadly, when we do this podcast. And last week we're getting really excited with the preview and everything, and then
go and listen to last week's podcast. We were so much more energetic and excited,
and more of a roadmap, to be honest. Say again, sorry.
I'm glad I didn't fly to Nova anyway.
Yeah, I know. So now
that'd have been a bit of a crap trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But coming out of the news from the last week, guys, we do have your community questions this week. So the first of which we'll do Reddit questions first here. So we have one from Alcaraz81. If Games Workshop were to add another Xenos race to Warhammer 40,000, what should it be and why? For me, it would just be to expand the Tau Empire and add one or two more Xenos races for them, if anything.
Make them much more like the Federation, like a whole
Yeah.
panoply of different races.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
that
quite
would
a
be
few
pretty
mentioned
sweet.
in the Codex, isn't there? Like the first ones they encountered during the expansion spheres and stuff.
Plus, everybody knows my dream, and that's for Kroot to get their own codex to be separated from the. But hey, that's not completely the question. But I don't know if you guys have any other ideas for your own Xenos race that you've kind of dreamt up before previously.
As tempted as I am to say Thrud, I would love to see something from the Ghoul Stars, or even perhaps the return of the Rangdan. So either that or something, unknown from like that dark corner of the galaxy, something like that. I mean, the Rangdan would be awesome to bring back. You could do a whole massive campaign based on that, but I think they want to leave that to the secrets of the lore, just like the 2nd and 11th Legions, perhaps. But something like that, some like evil thing from the Ghoul Stars would be awesome. Like not so much like a Night Haunt for 40k, but along that line, something spectral. Because we've not got anything like that, have we?
Took the words out of my mouth. I was thinking Ghoul Stars. Okay, it's the massively unexplored part of the galaxy, but I want something more kind of eldritch, like almost like Call of Cthulhu-esque. Like something that genuinely kind of, you get a kit to put together and it's not chaos. It's something that even chaos looks at and goes, that's freaky. I would love something that was just completely massively alien, for want of a better word. Right? I mean, even the Tyranids, which are supposedly the most alien of the aliens, they're just bugs at the end of the day. And when we know bugs, we live on a planet with bugs. I want something that you look at it and go, no, that's messing with my head slightly. And I would love something like that in the 40k lore. I think it would add a whole extra horror dimension.
One other thought I did just have actually is and I've had this thought previously before, if you had it's nothing to do with the lore really, but like one of the Lost Legions, if you found out that a Xenos race had been the reason they've disappeared, they'd completely wiped them, but they are now using their armor and things like that Legion's armor and weaponry, and you get a new Xenos race, but using kind of marine-based equipment. It could be kind of interesting.
Like the Vermin, but in like the 2nd Legion's armor.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
We did well not to mention Space Skaven, to be fair.
That's true, actually. Yeah, we had that convo a while back, didn't we, about the Space Skaven? But yeah, we'll that could be another one, I suppose. But yeah, unless anybody else has any other ideas, we can move on to the next one.
No, let's move right along.
So from Betazoid, also over on the Reddit, what should Emperor's Children get if Games Workshop do indeed update their codex and launch an army for them?
A good slap.
Well, aside from the obvious, which is Noise Marines, some updated versions of the Heresy kits would be quite cool. It's like the Terminators. They've got I can't remember what they're called, with the big, massive sonic blasters.
The Cacophony, which are
that's
basically the
Cacophony,
Uber version
yeah.
of Noise Marines.
So like a 40k version of them. And then I'd like to see some sort of like really fast melee kit, almost like carrying twin daggers or something like that, where they really just want to go and cause mayhem.
Yeah, so you're basically talking about a Chaos 40k version of what they have in the Horus Heresy. So like the Palatine Blades, which are the Master Swordsmen of the Emperor's Children and the Heresy. You want here they are 10,000 years and a hell of a lot of miles later, and it's Lucius the Eternal written as a unit. It's mass, showmanship style flashy swordsman. You want like a Terminator size version of the Noise Marines, much like the Khorne Berserkers got the big kind of 8-fold beefy versions. You want that same kind of thing for Noise Marines. Yeah,
and then the only other thing I could think of is some sort of Screamer Dreadnought, like a Dreadnought that's focused on like
Forge World used to do.
Yeah, the ultimate sound cannon Dreadnought or something. That'd be awesome.
Just like a giant walking amp.
Yeah,
I was going to
like
say
the amp from Back to the Future, which he's got on his T-shirt quite fittingly.
Yeah, I was going to say just more like larger vehicles maybe or something, but more obviously around their kind of weaponry, like the noise weaponry would be pretty cool.
I would like to see standard Marines, but just with an Emperor's Children flair, like a Marine tactical squad, but with Emperor's Children style decoration.
Like they did with the Rubric Marines, I suppose. It's the
that kind of
Tons basics level squad.
Instead of all his dust, it'd be all his lust.
Oh man, that should be on a T-shirt. I will say one word that is the other thing the Emperor's Children should have in their codex. One word. Doom Rider.
Yes. God, the classic.
The chosen of Slaanesh, the biker king of all 40k. Doom Rider, surfing on the back of his bike, flipping metal horns and just racing across the battlefield.
Like Teen Wolf on the back of his bike.
Yeah, on a bike with flaming wheels.
What about obviously like possibility of like Fulgrim, that sort of stuff as well? Yeah, obviously, like you've said, Lucius, like new minis, that sort of thing. If they're to come
you'd
back.
Expect a new Lucius, and you'd expect Fulgrim to get a 40k kit as and when Empress.
Well, if the rumours are true, Fulgrim is getting a 40k kit. So
yeah.
So yeah, all possibilities. But we'll have to wait and see. We won't find out about all that until probably middle of next year.
Roadmap next year. And it says,
and then it'll purely have Emperor's Children on it as well. That's all it'll be on it.
About a week after they come out.
Yeah, indeed. But going over to Discord, only singular this week from Syndraconic, but he sent in 2 questions for us, so I thought we might as well do both. First of which is, what do you think the overarching effect of the modern fixation on competitive play is in Warhammer? Not just for the products, for the community at large. We're starting to see things like people hiring coaches and a lot of net listing going on. Do you think it's healthy for the game or even the spirit of the hobby?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No. Next question. No.
If you can sell yourself as a coach to coach wargamers, and fair play to you, I think you're stealing a living. But if you can make money doing that, then great. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it's too much that. It's meant to be fun.
We've had this on a previous episode we obviously had Michael on from Vanguard Tactics, which was really handy to have him on because he was explaining a lot of this stuff to us. Vanguard Tactics are one of the first to start this. They're quite big on it. Very competitive 40k channel. And they now have coaches and they have a program where you can sign on to it and they help teach you the game, which I think is not a bad thing. Although
I'm not again.
To do that is possibly still,
coaches
I think, a bit
teach you the game. great. What I was inferring is, or referring to, I should say, is if you're hiring a coach to help you build the cheesiest, must-win at all cost list, then, in my opinion, it is just my opinion. You know, feel free to disagree with me, but you're doing it wrong.
I mean, the only thing I'm going to argue against with it is just everyone always gets worried about the competitive player side of the hobby. But just remember that it's such a small but very loud segment of the fan base.
Yeah. And
competitive play is
also,
very small number of people in the hobby.
If you've bought your miniatures, you've paid money for them, you can do whatever you want with them. If you want to be super competitive and win at all costs, then by all means go for it. It's not something I agree with personally, hiring a coach to win at all costs. But if you're hiring a coach to teach you the game, then that's cool.
Yeah. I think my observation would be it's not new.
No.
Like I can remember 20 years ago when I was playing against opponents who were downloading lists of like Warseer and running it. I had a former opponent who bought a ready-to-go army. Like he bought a fully painted Necron army, which came with a manual that the person who had sold him had written on how to use this army to win. And it was it was a play-by-play tactical book of do this with them, do that with them, do the other. It was like a Codex Astartes for Necrons. But that wasn't new. There were people doing that 20 plus years ago. And I am sure that if I went 20 years ago, there would be people saying, oh, no, it's not new. If you write to Bob, this address, P.O. Box 351, he'll send you the lists of how to win at the next tournament. It's genuinely not a new problem. It will always be a problem in the hobby.
So, to answer your question full on, although we probably don't really think it's that, why we would never really want to be bothered about that sort of thing, but it's not going to ruin the hobby. It's such a small part.
It hasn't yet.
I don't think it'll ever get big enough to either, though, because it's at the end of the day, you're getting these coaches for competitive players who are going into competitive tournaments. That's not realistically going to affect anybody else. So,
if anyone can tell me, like someone whose professional job is Warhammer coach, can we please, that is their full-time job? Can we get them on the podcast to talk about it? That is just one of those things of really, seriously, what do you do? I'm a Warhammer.
But I'm intrigued, as to what hours.
How did they decide to do that?
What
pay the bills?
What? Yeah,
I'll
be interested. Or get either that or get in the comments if you do have a Warhammer coach. You never know.
Yeah.
Let us know. Second question though from Sin is says a wargaming in general seems to be aiming for an audience of older folks with more disposable income. It feels like we're seeing less and less younger folks actually at the gaming table. Even looking at the general YouTube content creator, they tend to be middle-aged or greying, unlike the creators in many other hobbies like video games. Why do you think this is happening? Should we be concerned about the health of the hobby down the line or the slow churn of fresh blood? What do you think can be done to get more younger folks into it? Tell me about it, Syndraconic. I mean, I'm holding it down on here on the YouTube, sphere.
Blushing more and more as he was reading the question. You're getting redder and redder as you were reading the question. I was just looking at Sky thinking.
I do happen to be middle-aged. I'm 44. I have got a bit of grey in my beard. And by no means an old git. I think it's not wargaming specifically that suffers from these things. I think it's more the Warhammer hobby, because you look at other wargaming things now. There's loads of young kids getting into stuff like Marvel Crisis Protocol, games that you wouldn't expect young people to be getting into, like Bolt Action and stuff like that. If you go to Element Games, it's not full of old gits. In Stockport, it's a massive place. It's always rammed. You in the gaming hall, there's loads of young kids in there playing. So I think Warhammer, because of the price and the cost of Warhammer,
that could be a higher audience.
That could be sort of, you might get more and more people with disposable income and a bit older. Yeah, but some of the other games that are cheaper, I don't think it suffers from that as much. But I mean, that's just my observation. I mean, I might be wrong there. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, go on, Ben.
I think it probably comes down to where you hang out with your gaming. Because, I mean, I go to a gaming club that has a bar and stuff, so I'm genuinely unlikely to see younger gamers and stuff down there. It's probably
Element has a bar, but it's it's still full of young people as well.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of, I go somewhere that it's open after 8 and it's got it's basically got a bar attached to it. It is it's a working men's social club type thing.
Oh right, yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't expect to see a younger gamer there, but I bet if you go down to Games Workshop on like a Sunday afternoon or something, Sunday beginners running, it's probably rammed with kids. I mean, look at the number of like school clubs that are out there. Look at the work that the Games Workshop does with the Scouts. There's loads of younger gamers out there. I think it's probably just they're not on YouTube rabbiting about Warhammer because I hate to say it, they've got lives.
Like us old grey beards.
We're here on a Monday night jabbering on about Warhammer and answering questions for other Warhammer geeks out there. They've probably got, well, A, they've got school tomorrow, and B, they've got lives.
I'm probably
They've got football on a Saturday.
I'm probably realistically, the youngest age profile you will find as a YouTube creator for Warhammer. And that's genuine because you get much younger than me and you've either not had enough experience in the hobby or, yes, like Ben said, you've just got life commitments such as education. So, you know, that's why you're always going to get that. I mean, just on my thoughts though, like I think it's another one of these things where like people get worried about it because they're not seeing anything about it. But there's probably more ever than there even ever used to be that Games Workshop are doing now towards this to helping a younger audience. It's just not something you hear about or see. I know multiple friends of mine who are either teachers or run clubs who get way more support than I remember when I was younger for the game. So I would say, if anything, I wouldn't worry about it. I think, and like Sai's touched on already, it's aimed at a higher audience, obviously because of the price point, but also it's always, I think, been the same with this hobby where it's a generational thing where you'll get your kids into it, they then tell their friends, and that's how I got into the hobby. One of my friends got me into the hobby. It's just the way it's always worked, and I think that they know that's still how it's gonna work going forward.
Then you've got idiots like me who always wanted stuff when I was younger, couldn't afford it, but now I can. I'm like, right, I'm having it.
Yeah. I've got look at my Battlefleet Gothic collection over there.
It's why I've got 3 Tamiya cars built up down there and painted that I've never raced on a road because I just wanted them as kids, and now I've got them.
I think stuff like the Partworks stuff as well, like Hachette Partworks, like they've launched the new Combat Patrol one. I think that really helps kind of a younger audience as well, because it is almost kind of pocket money level. It's that kind of a magazine, or it's $8.99 a week or something. I could imagine if my child were to ask for something like that, I could probably go, yeah, okay, we could. That's your pocket money for the week, but we can swing that. So there is a lot of stuff that helps get the younger crowd in.
That's another example of just new things they've introduced that are way better for, affordable for if you want to get your kids into it. Or
oh god, if they'd done that when I was a kid, I would have been like, admittedly $8.99 would have been a bit much in the 90s, but like back then it would probably been $4.99 or something.
And also just the fact that with games, TV series coming now, all that sort of stuff, it's becoming way more mainstream than it used to be. They don't have to rely on their marketing is already out there for new audience and whatnot. So they don't have to worry about that. And Syndraconic, I would not be worried about it either. It's I think it's better than it's probably ever been. It's just not very apparent, I think. But yeah, I think that will do us for our community questions this week, guys. Anyway, I've got a few still that we didn't have time for this week. We tend to go through about 4 or 5 a week max, so I'll hold those back till next time. And then make sure that you're jumping onto our Discord, like I say, or over on social medias and giving us yours. Or you can leave comments down below on this video for questions you want answered in the next episode that we do it. But we are going to finish the episode this week. I think we said we'd fancied bringing in a game of...
How much?
How much?
Which for any of you guys who are new and have not seen How Much before on the channel or listened to it before... effectively, we or the 3 of us go on, or whoever's on, go on to eBay to look for vintage Warhammer, usually, well, don't necessarily have to be, but usually out of print Warhammer box sets or whatever it might be. And we kind of scrub out the price point and we bring those up, and the rest of the guys have to basically guess what the price point is. The closest person to it gets a point. I think we've got 2 each again this week.
Yeah, that's right.
I can only remember one of them. I only did it about 2 hours ago.
Well, I've got them up on here.
I've got them open on my phone next to me, ready for the prices.
So we will go in order
of
prices
as well, aren't they? They're not auction prices.
Yes, yeah. Usually we do all just pure buy it now price points, so it makes it easier. So if you guys are only listening to the podcast, we have had people comment before saying that it's a bit harder to follow. Don't worry, we'll describe exactly what the listing is, so you know what it is, and you can guess along at home as well. Let us know if you did better than we did, because it's usually very mixed, so we'll see how we go. But the first up, I do actually have one of my own ones up first, so I'll throw it on screen. And you can actually see there's got the very original price point on the box there as well, so it's not even taken that off.
Miserably there. It's got the price on it.
If it's still that now, whoa, what a bargain.
I mean, I'd be clicking on the buy it now if it was still that now.
Yes, yeah. But I have scrubbed out the price point, but it is an epic Warhammer 40,000 Tyranid Hierophant Bio-Titan. It's factory sealed. Buy it now. Guys, what do you think?
It was marked down as well. I mean, you can see that it originally was like £12. It's marked down to £7.50 or 15. It's marked down to £7.50. Half price. Bargain.
So this is from Epic 40k, which is Epic's 3rd edition, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Well, so sealed in the box with the cellophane still on it. Metal Bio-Titan. This is a tough one. I'm going to say buy it now, $79.99.
Ooh.
Okay. Ben?
I have the slight advantage that I occasionally go looking for Tyranids epic stuff on eBay because I really want to do an epic 40,000 3rd edition epic Tyranid army to go with my Orcs, Marines, and Eldar epic armies. And there are a lot of Hierophants out there. These ones are one of the more common kits that you come across when you're searching for epic Tyranids. That being said, it is brand new in box, still with the cellophane on, which is going to mark it up.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to go £60. So I'm going to go.
So you've gone under Sai
and see whether or not I caught it. I'm probably completely wrong now.
This one might shock you then, Ben. £150.
Oof,
and that's middle of the range from what I found. So
at least Dick Turpin wore a mask.
But yeah,
if
so
the special thing for Legions Imperialis is they're bringing out the Tyranids, and it's suddenly, and here it is. It's $39.99, and this guy's like.
So that's a point to Sai for the first round. We'll move swiftly on to, I think, Ben, I've got one of yours up next, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
So this is eminently appropriate given the release from today. This is an out-of-production metal, still in blister, Bloodbowl Chaos Dwarf Bull Centaur. This is not the special character star player, and it isn't the original Bloodbowl era. So it's not in that kind of blue and red branding blister pack. It's the more recent white made-to-order blister packs they did. So when they released the Bloodbowl, I think 2nd edition, and they released a bunch of the older teams that were legends in metal as a made-to-order. It's that era of branding. So it's the White Citadel backing blister pack. But it is a complete, otherwise new in blister pack, Bull Centaur. Luke, what are you
say? I'll go first because I went first last one. This is a tough one for me. Still only singular model, but then I don't know. I'm gonna go close to Sai's last guess for the last round and I'm gonna go 70.
Okay, Sai, what do you think? Higher or lower?
I don't think it's going to be that high. I don't think. I'm going to roll the dice and say 50.
50?
Mm-hmm.
You are 2 for 2. This comes in at £45 as the buy it now
well
price.
Done,
just £5 off the pin, and you are 2 points up so far, well in the lead.
Hey.
Nice. So there you go, Sai. Next one is going to be Sai's.
It gives us a chance to get a point back from him.
So I believe this is your Sai, yeah?
Yeah. So this one is Tau Empire XV-15 stealth armor. So this is the ones that they're the more sleeker. They almost look like beefed up fire warriors, and they've got the burst cannon on the right arm, or the left arm, depending on which one you get. This is a single miniature in the blister pack, and it's a single XV-15 stealth. It's is it the veteran? I think
it's the Chastui, the squad leader. So it comes with a plastic gun drone as well.
Yeah, and these were before the XV-25 like egg style stealth armor. I really like these. I prefer these.
I prefer the 15s. I've got a bunch of 15s in my Tau army.
So it's not so much as a hint that I'm going to give you both, but the prices on these fluctuate. So sometimes they're stupidly high, and then sometimes they're quite reasonable. So it depends where you catch it. So,
Well,
bearing in
you
mind
went-
it's a single miniature, what do you think?
You went first last time, Luke. So shall I go first this time?
Yeah, I think out of the three of us, you haven't been first yet, so we'll go with you first then on this one.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, it's a guy with 100% positive feedback, and it's a professional trader by the looks of things, the Monster Merchants. So I don't think he's going to be scalping people. I'm going to go £35.
It's literally higher or lower than that though. With this, I think
Yep.
I wasn't going to go particularly high either. I'm just going to say 40.
Ooh, so it's very close. Either it's
Yeah,
So Luke, you went 35. Ben 35.
Yep.
Luke 40.
I went 40. Yeah, basically just wanted to go higher without going too high.
This is on there for $69.95.
Yeah.
how much?
Yeah. Well,
How much?
this is one of the cheaper ones I found.
That's
There is a
ridiculous.
seller on there who has something to do with colours and fish who we
Oh
won't name.
God, help us!
They're selling quite a few at stupendous prices, but we don't count that
Wow.
seller because they're just
Nope.
living on another planet.
No,
Wow.
that is
Okay,
insane.
well,
$69.95.
That's 2 points to Si, 1 to me. Ben, going into the second
Still going
round,
in, no.
you've got to collect the points yet. So we're on to my second listing, which is deep in my own heart,
Hey!
and it is the Warhammer 40,000 limited edition Games Day 2001 Kroot Shaper Angkor Proc. I own this model, the original one.
I used to own this model, but I gave it to
Yeah.
a friend.
So how much would you have to buy it for now is the question, I guess. But I'll go with Si first, because Si, you were first on my go. So on my listing. So what's your guess?
That's an interesting one.
And this is new
Games
Impact
Day.
Guys metal model. For
The
anybody
Games
who's,
Day Mini.
listening.
Over 20 years old. Good lord.
It's not Space Marine, so
No, it's not.
I'm going to say $49.99.
Ben?
I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna go 75.
Okay, so Ben, you were the closest. You were only £5
Wow.
out. It's £80.
Wow,
Really?
And the majority of these are £80 to £100. So
good lord.
yeah, I think they've gone up again from what I last checked, because of the Kroot release. So people want the original Angkor Proc Mini.
It would be nice
but
if one day the Warhammer Plus miniature or like some kind of special edition miniature was a remake of the Angkor Proc, like they did with the Games Day knob. It would be nice to see Angkor Proc get a new model.
So
Or
Ben,
Captain
you've evened
Cortez.
up with me on that one. So it's point to me, 2 to Si, and 1 to Ben. But Ben, it's your
My second up.
and final listing. What are we looking at?
This is a mint inbox. It's not cellophane, so it has been opened, but it's unpunched. It is the classic 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy campaign pack, Grudge of Drong, complete. Mint condition, like I said, just not shrink wrapped. So the card stock scenery is still on its original card frame. The book's unopened. It's got the all the battle scrolls still on originally kind of bound together. What would you guess this is going for? Luke, I think you went first
Yeah,
for
I
me
was
last
first
time,
on
didn't you?
this
So,
one,
Si,
yeah.
do you want to go first this time?
I'm just going to
No,
churn
I
out
was
the
going-
number that pops
yeah.
into my head as soon as I saw this appear on the screen. And I read that.
Mhm.
125.
Ooh. Luke, higher or lower?
What did you say was in this again, Ben?
So it's a campaign pack. I've actually got the book here next to me.
All right.
I've got the original Grudge of Drong book. This is the campaign book that came with it. But then there was a
Okay.
series of war scrolls, which are the army lists that you use to play the campaign, and then card stock scenery that you may use to make the
Right.
Dwarven Brewery, which again
Okay.
I've got to build in a future video. But this one is still unpressed. It's not even been pushed off the kind of the little cardboard printed sheet that it was originally printed onto.
Okay.
The box is in mint condition. It's not scuffed or battered or anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 150.
So 125 for Si, 150 for Luke. It's £133.54 is the
Ooh, so
buy
I
it
think
now
Si's
price.
still closest.
Si is the
That was a
closest. He's
close
only
one,
8 away.
damn. That was very close.
3
one.
points for Si. There'll be no catching him now.
No, sadly. So Si, you have won this week's, but we do have your final one to go. I suppose we can
Vie for
decide a winner
second
between
place.
me and Ben. Yeah. I do have 2 pictures up for your Si as well because you wanted me to get up a couple. So Take us through what yours is.
So this is the very, very awesome Space Crusade board game from 1990. It's by MB Games as well as Games Workshop. It's in absolute mint condition. Everything from what I can see is there. All the minis have been assembled, but every single thing is there. Ben's having a little moment down there in the corner. If you want to flick to the other picture, Luke, if you can.
I'll get
it does show
some of the contents up.
The minis assembled. So all the Marines are there. All the cards are there, all the tokens, all the dice, everything from what I can see. I'm by no means a Space Crusade expert, but I've had a quick look. It does look fully complete.
Seems like it, yeah.
And it's an absolute awesome game.
Talking about bringing kids into the hobby, I mean, this was pretty much a gateway drug for huge swathes of the world.
Absolutely.
Back when they were doing TV ads for this as well. I
remember getting the bus into town to get this game on Amiga from Boots.
Oh, from Boots.
I went into town. It's now a Waterstones. Got the bus into Bolton, went to Boots downstairs, got it for the Amiga, got the bus straight back home again and played it probably for about 7 hours straight.
Let's Ben, who should we go first with on this one?
I'll happily go first. I'm going to go.
Sure, because I have no idea with this one.
I'm going to go £350.
Okay.
I think I might be under.
I was actually going to go a lot higher than that, so I won't go just above you just to be thingy, because this is literally us coming down. So I'm gonna go for the hills a bit more. I'm gonna go. Let's go out there. Let's go 600.
Wow. Okay. So Ben 350, Luke 600.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it like way less than we're thinking, or is it?
What worries me now is I have a funny feeling Ben might want to buy this now.
Oh, it's cheaper.
199.
Oh,
199.
Okay, that surprises me. Okay,
I do not need a copy of Space Crusade.
I
do not need a copy of Space Crusade.
There's one on there for 149 as well, and the only difference I can see really is the box is a little bit more dog-eared.
Oh Lord!
I nearly pulled the trigger on it myself.
That is the danger that we endure each week that we play. How much for you guys is that
there's room on that shelf for a Space Crusade? Let me tell you.
Our bank balance on this.
Yeah, that is the danger of this game. I mean, literally searching for Angkor Proc again. I was like, "Ooh, I'm starting up Crew again soon. Do I want to get another one to paint up again?"
Game as well. It is a good game.
Yeah,
it's an excellent game, and they did an expansion for it as well, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah, they did. And there was also Advanced Space Crusade, and then there was the Space Crusade Attack of the Eldar, weren't there?
That was the expansion I was thinking of. Yeah,
I did that one a while ago, didn't I? I think on this game anyway. But Ben, you did win that last one.
Go straight on eBay after
this. Yeah, Ben will be bankrupt. But Simon, you did win how much this time round? Ben second, me third. But I did get points on the table. I'm happy about that. So to be quite honest, but. I hope you guys enjoyed that one as well. Let us know if you got bang on the money. We always like to know that if you got bang on for any of the guesses. But I think that will be it for our episode this week, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Before we leave you, Si, I'll start with you since you're at the top there. Where can we find you?
Usual place. You can find me on YouTube as Hobby Waffle. Last video I've done was unboxing the Trezor Sentry Guns for Necromunda High Secundus. Done a bit of an aliens theme to the video, had a bit of fun with it. And then next up on the channel will be hopefully the Yeld, Jakara and Malkador Spires. But in my rush to pre-order, I thought it was a mistake by Element Games, but in my rush to pre-order the Spires the other week with the Book of Desolation, I ordered another box of Horus Spires instead of the normal Spires because I'm an idiot. So I've got to go and exchange those. So, but I will be doing an unboxing for them, and then I'll probably do a video on Space Marine 2 when it releases as well.
Cool.
Very excited for that.
Oh, and then usually I'll be on Instagram and Twitter as Hobby Waffle.
And Ben?
You can find me over on my channel, 90% Geek. I am 4 subscribers short of 2,000.
So
come on, let's get in there.
My 2,000th subscriber, come on, head on over. Beyond that, I've been trying to think of what to do to celebrate hit the 2,000 mark. I'm currently thinking a 2,000 point battle report might be a good way to do it, but I am vaguely worried that I'll be setting myself up for some kind of bad precedent. You know, by the time I get to 5,000 subscribers or something, I'll be like, oh my god, this battle report's going to take a week to film. But yeah, you can otherwise find me over on Twitter, on Instagram, with the same handle as well. I am going to be trying to follow Garfy from Tale of Painters, put a challenge out over the weekend. He suggested, let's see if we can do 4 units in 4 weeks for September. I think that's
It already says you're on 2,000.
What? Well, already?
Whilst we were live, the power of the Morehammer podcast.
If you are,
2001!
that was me. I've just subscribed on my son's account.
Oh!
There you go. To get you well into the 2000s now, Ben.
Oh, well,
There
that
you
was
go.
2,500. Now I'll start a countdown to 2,500. But
There you
yes,
go.
what I was going to say was I'm going to be following Garfy's challenge for September. So I'm going to be painting a unit a week, and I'll be putting pictures of that up both over on Twitter, on Instagram, and on the Morehammer Discord.
Lovely stuff. And yeah, come and join us over there, guys. I'll be with you chatting over there, and of course on the Morehammer podcast. And as always, check me out over on Twitter, chat with me over there, Facebook, Instagram, like the guys. Thanks to the guys as always, and thanks to you guys for listening and watching. Until next time, happy wargaming.
Bye. I'm going to go and celebrate
Bye.
2000.
See you guys.